Alright, hello guys. So today there's finally a new hero after a Carl Heron that came out, which is still pretty recent. But one of the great thing is here is a new hero finally on the first Dark Knight. So there is a total of 4 Dark Knights, and here it is. Um, Here it is. His name is Merkiel. I that's I'm assuming how I pronounce it based on a name. The pronunciation for the Korean and the English is a little bit different, but here it is. His hairstyle kind of reminds me of like a Yushin, but here it is. He is a magic hero once again. So they are coming up with more and more magic heroes for a different kind of, I guess, promoting a different kind of decks. But here it is. He is from a white magician family, and he just was bored of a very conservative and restricted area, the systems of their the white, I guess, the magic community, and which, if you guys look like a Bellica and others, they are like a dark magic or black magic. So he is supposedly the opposite, the family, but he was just, really bored and was, rebellious about that. And while he was in a slump, he got to meet a black magician, and he learned dark magic or black magic from him, which he didn't mention yet. But here it is. But after his family found out that he learned a dark magic, he was abandoned, and he was abandoned from the family, and as a result, he just decides to follow his dark magician, and just traveled around and basically mastered the dark or black magic, whichever one. And finally, there was a huge war, invasion from a different kind of monsters, and he just used them to test out his dark magic, and he participated in a war. And from that, he although his main motive was to test out his skills and etc., the king saw as a so he was as a great the knight, and as a result, he gets appointed to a knight, so which is just very, very interesting. But he is a magic hero, and more and more, like Yeonhee and others, the more magic heroes are coming out. But I'll be just looking at his for the skills. I'll be just telling you guys the awakened one, just because most people would want to have them awaken anyway and know the awakened one. So but for the story wise, he mastered all the black magic, but he doesn't satisfy from there, but he wants to create his own dark magic. So he starts going around and making his dark magic, and in order to get to the basically the place or whichever magic that he wants to do, he will do anything for it. So although I guess he doesn't sound too evil compared to like Dellen's, but he is part of a Dark Knight. But his title is a mad scientist Merkiel, which is very interesting as well. But his first passive is that he has a hit immunity for 4 turns. It's not by hit, which I don't know how it'll turn out. But once he gets attacked, for every 1 attack, he only takes a maximum of a 30% of his life. So I guess this kind of compensates for it, but so that makes sure for this any kind of skill that he takes, he is for sure that won't die for whatever the turn. And for his allies, if you have 3 or more magic, just like a Yeonhee or like a Yuri, for the same row as where he is, the lethal chance and lethal damage increases by 60%, which kind of reminds me of also like a Fengyan, but I think this is just kind of like a bonus. His passive is, I think, just alright for now, but the increasing chance and damage for lethal 60% is just pretty nice. And then his first skill, 80-second cooldown, and for 3-person, 220% magic damage with a piercing, and also it reduces any kind of a immunity per hit by 3 times. So I guess because there's more and more heroes with hit immunities for 3, 3, 4, for like Lin it was like 12. So in order to reduce that, I guess they came out with this, but the one of the downside is that it reduces a immunity for hits for only fighter types. So I'm assuming this is a guy for to specifically in a way counter a Delens, because Delens is attack type, and maybe Kyle as well. But basically, he will be when he uses this skill, Delens will be just vulnerable, and it just makes it really nice to just kill them off. But the next skill is 115-second cooldown, 5-person AOE attack with 100% magic damage, and it deals 2,000 flat damage, which is pretty nice, but also reduce a turn buff by 2 turns. So most of days now, heroes come out with a reducing a turn buff, because there's so many different heroes that last so long and have different kind of buff and the skills. So it reduces a turn buff by 2 turns, which is I think still alright. For Awaken, maybe 3 would have been better, but this skill like also deals damage, but also has a flat damage but no piercing. So mainly for I think dealing damage to a non-immunity per hit heroes, as well as removing a buff. And his Awaken skill is 3-person target, deals 400% of the magic damage, which is pretty high, and he heals 30% of the damage that he dealt. And you guys can see that he is one of the massive damage dealer. 2,999, what, close to 3,000 with the item, 4,000, 4,500. 30% of that you'll be basically healing almost everything. So that's just something really really nice. And also removing a turn, reducing a turn buff by 3 turns again. So 2 turn for regular attacks, and for Awakening 3 turns. Just additional thing, dealing a lot of damages. One of the great thing too is that he is a magic hero, so you don't need a the water element, the magic element. So here it is. Let me see it again. So he uses some sort of interesting, I guess, a sword slash spear slash wand, I guess. So you guys can see that a lot of the animation, I guess recently I see more as you zoom into the heroes. I do see this more and more often, but and the theme is, since it's a Dark Knight, they're very like blue and dark, which just I absolutely love. But here's the skill, and here is the second skill. Really really nice. So you can see that his sword is black and white. I guess it's because he also still has that white magician inside him. And here's the Awakened skill, which deals 400% of the damage, as well as reducing a turn buff. So it's just overall, I think it's still okay. I think one of the best one was like Delens and stuff, but it's just still really nice. And finally, Delens gets his friend, I should say. And on the relationship chart, you could also see from the relationship chart on the season 2, Delens finally get a Milkir, and they just Delens doesn't have any kind of relationship with him, but just have a Merkiel thinks Delens is just a very interesting guy. And you can see that inside here, there's still, besides the 2 more Dark Knights, there's still the 3 other positions, which just indicating, some of the other ones that'll be coming up. So here it is for the new character, new hero, a Merkiel. And there's a high chance for him, so if you guys do get him, make sure you guys try to awaken for that extra incentive, like a 6-star random selector. So here it was. I think he's pretty great, and it's just a great addition to a lot of the Magic decks that are popular really right now. So I could see that he'll be coming up in a lot of the arena very soon for the Magic decks. But here it was. I hope you guys liked it, and the description for his skills are on the bottom, so make sure you guys can check that out. And if you guys do have any other questions, you guys can comment or message, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So thank you guys, and have fun.